You know, after this stupid debate took place, I watched some of the coverage by the MSNBC commentators, and I was led to believe that there was some kind of alternate show that they experienced that wasn't broadcast publicly. Just because of the way they sucked off several people that really didn't do anything that was actually worth noting or remembering. I'd say the only two people on that entire stage that actually did not speak in platitudes and, worthless rhetoric that doesn't indicate an actual position, were Warren and Gabbard, who coincidentally were the only two that I was actually excited to see, because I have attempted anyway to go through the records of most of these people. There's actually a new meme that's come around where when O'Rourke spoke Spanish, you actually have a picture someone took of that where Booker was looking at him with the side eye. And I guess that's kind of amusing, but it underscores part of my contempt for these little public displays where all the candidates get together. Because the point of these is that people lay out their positions, their ideas, and what they turn into are these several hours long sessions for these clowns to show off how much of an empty suit they are, and to occasionally get some line in that people think is good or great. If you watched any of MSNBC's coverage after, their what they call an analysis, they were just sucking off Klobuchar like crazy. She had one line in that entire debate that apparently stood out, which is the one about the three chicks that have fought for reproductive rights or whatever, and they took that and just ran with it for like 3 hours. They really tried to sell it. And, as someone that's seen her record, her abysmal record, her neoliberal warmonger record, I was not impressed by that record. So why would I be impressed by 3 seconds in a debate? But see, that goes back to the whole goofy, nonsensical obsession there is with these performances, and that's what they are. They're acting. And as much as I like Gabbard, and I did give her credit for being one of the few people that actually laid out specific issues, I saw a lot. There's a type of speaking by politicians that I hate. It's just very terrible, where instead of laying out specifics, they go, hey, I want to abolish this, I support this, I'm opposed to that. They turn it into this war of words, to use the most flowery language possible. I believe in Americans' ability to, stuff like that. And there was a lot of this, from her when she was talking about the need to get out of these conflicts. That's perfectly fine. I would prefer if she laid out some numbers. She said, many lives, many dollars. Like, okay, what are the actual amounts? Because if specifics are not given, you can't tie your idea to a fact. Many for some people is 1,000. Other people, it's 1,000,000. It just depends on who's listening to it. But that wasn't the actual issue. The problem was that she tried to say, in her claim that we should push back, or rather use the funding for domestic issues, she didn't specify which issues those were. Do you support single payer? Do you support Medicare for all? Just no specifics. And that's literally what the entire stage was, other than Warren, probably, and then a little bit of Gabbard as well. It was just flowery language. Vote for me because I can talk the most inspiring without actually saying anything. It's really, it goes back to the contempt I have for these presidential cycles, because this process should be about looking at records and getting the positions of these candidates, and then picking out who is best suited to not only beat the person who's currently in office, but to also implement something that is transformative in quelling current issues, whether they've been around for a couple of years or for a couple of decades. And instead, we get these spectacles that, literally only exist for ratings and for people to, be amused by what is appearing in front of them. So I look forward more so to the one with Sanders and Biden. It's tonight. This other one was, if I had to give it a rating between the technical issues and the platitudes, I'd give it a D minus. And out of those 10, only two of them are worth voting for, and one of them's only halfway there.